There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports, let go, Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports.
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps, Predictions, Sports, let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show, and I'm live for the Smackdown Recap Show. Just got through watching. Congratulations to the New York Knicks. They are up 2-0 in the NBA Finals. So it's taken a little while to get accustomed to this European schedule. Obviously, if you have a VPN on watch on Netflix, SmackDown was live earlier today. I believe it was at 2 p.m. Eastern on Netflix. I don't never watch it when it comes on at 2 p.m. I wait till 11 or 8 p.m. on USA. So, and the next one, the New York Knicks won 105-104. I didn't watch the end. I watched the very end of the game, but yeah, so it's taken me a little while to get used to everything in regards to this European schedule. Just posting that I'm live. Obviously, everybody's already watched SmackDown, so but we're going to talk about it. I have a lot to say coming up here Sunday about WWE and their booking. And obviously we'll talk about it some tonight as well. I'm definitely glad that WWE is going back to 2 hours starting July or June 26th. They definitely need to go back to 2 hours. I think 3 hours is way too much. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it. I was waiting for the finals to just pulling up my notes, guys. Just give me 1 second. But I'll definitely be glad when SmackDown goes back to 2 hours, which it will starting June the 26th. SmackDown will be back on 2 hours. But this is your SmackDown recap live here on the EVP Show. Like I said last night, glad to be back. Had a little bit of break because of the computer, but definitely glad to be back with you guys. Shout out to the new subscribers. If you are watching live or you do go back and watch this video live on YouTube, please hit that like button. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. It gets my channel more notice. And obviously, like I told you guys, looking forward to finishing out this week, and then we'll be back to a full week next week. Obviously, WWE is going to be overseas still, but we're going to rock with it. Towards the end of the month, I'll probably put a post out tomorrow on social media on X. I will be looking for a full panel as the end of the month gets near. I will be doing a WWE Night of Champions and NXT Great American Bash prediction show, which will be done together. I'm not going to run separate shows. We're going to go ahead and do a full prediction show for both PLEs, and I will be recapping them both. So I'm looking forward to that. There's a lot of I could really say about SmackDown. Like I said, I question a lot of stuff that they're doing. They have champions in these fatal 4-ways. I'm not a big fan of that. And then they have some really top-notch matches that they could do, but WWE likes to play it safe a lot of the time and not do those matches. I guess I can understand that from a business standpoint, but I don't know. I really don't understand unless they're planning on breaking the Judgment Day up, having Raquel win and not JC when she just come up. But it is what it is. At this point, not really much I can do about it. But let's go ahead and talk about it, like Trick Williams and Cody says all the time. Tonight's WWE SmackDown recap show was live June the 5th, Friday, June 5th, 2026, from the Unipol Arena in Bologna, Italy. And it was live, obviously, on Netflix with the VPN at 2 p.m. Eastern. This is the post WWE Clash in Italy SmackDown show. Going to see Carmelo Hayes go one-on-one again with the Absolute Ricky Saints in a singles match. Plus, WWE SmackDown Undisputed Champion, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, will return to SmackDown after a controversial victory at Clash in Italy over the Ring General Gunther. Also in store tonight, as I said, Cody Rhodes appears to address his controversial win over Gunther at Clash in Italy. Rhea Ripley will appear as she looks like she was hobbled up tonight as her Clash in Italy fallout continues. And then we will see one King of the Ring qualifying first round match, Fatal 4-Way, Damian Priest versus one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champion, Damian Priest, the United States Champion on SmackDown, Trick Williams, the AAA Mega Champion, Dominic Mysterio, and the one half of the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions, the Badass Brian Breaker, in the first round of the King of the Ring Fatal 4-Way. Then we're going to have the first round of the Queen of the Ring Fatal 4-Way as well, as we will see Bayley versus JC Jane, a Fatal Influence, versus Kiana James with Julia versus Raquel Rodriguez. Ricky Saints will go one-on-one with Carmelo Hayes. Fatal Influence will be setting up a tag title match. Looks like with the Bella Twins. I do think that they are the ones that need to take the titles off the Bellas, because Nikki should be back very soon. Before we get started, we will run through. I missed the whole the Raw after Clash in Italy and the Clash in Italy recap show. We'll kind of go through the brackets really quick and what's transpired so far. Obviously, this is the King of the Ring. We're starting off with the King of the Ring brackets. Just a match. We'll go through the matches and obviously the ones that's already transpired that I haven't had a chance to recap. Monday on Raw, we saw we have 4 Fatal 4-Way matches. The winners going on to the semifinals. And then we have the finals will take place Saturday, June 27th in Saudi Arabia at the United Champions PLE. On the men's side, on the left side of the bracket, we have Penta. This past Monday we had the Intercontinental Champion on Raw, Penta versus Obafemi versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes, with Obafemi getting the victory Monday on Raw and moving on to the semifinals. The 4 men under that Obafemi will be facing obviously took place tonight on SmackDown. Dominic Mysterio versus Brian Breaker versus Trick Williams versus Damian Priest. The winner going on to the semifinals to face Obafemi. On the other side of the bracket, next week on Friday Night SmackDown, we will see main event Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Royce Keys versus the newly claimed member of SmackDown, Ben Balor. At the top half of that bracket, I believe this match will happen on Raw. I think it's happening this week on Raw. Seth Rollins goes versus Javon Evans versus Tala Tonga versus Ricky Saints. So right now we just have Obafemi and then the winner of the Fatal 4-Way tonight on SmackDown, which I'll kind of go over. But we have Obafemi facing that winner in the semifinals. None of the other quarterfinal matches on the other side have happened yet. Obviously, we'll cover all that once they happen, and then I'll talk about it Sunday. Let's talk about the women's bracket. The matches that's already happened. So Monday on Raw, we saw Roxanne Perez on the left side of the bracket. We saw Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky versus Julia versus Lash Legend. Io Sky was victorious Monday and moved on to the semifinal. This is the same concept as the men's Fatal 4-Way, but the championship the finals of this tournament will be crowned at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, with the winner getting a title match at SummerSlam. So the four ladies under them and that on that side of the bracket, it's going to took place tonight on SmackDown. Bailey with the winner facing Io Sky in the semifinals. Bailey versus Raquel Rodriguez versus Jacy Jayne versus Kiana James. On the other side of the bracket, none of these matches have taken place yet. We will see one Monday, I believe, and then the other one will be on Friday Night SmackDown next week. On the top half of the other side of the bracket, we're going to Monday night. We're going to have Liv Morgan, the women's Raw Heavyweight Champion, versus Becky Lynch, versus the Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green, and that match will take place Monday on Raw. And then next Friday night, the winner of the Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green match will take on the winner of the match coming up next Friday, Sol Ruka versus Lyra Valkyria versus Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. So pretty stacked bracket. Like I said, don't really understand Liv being in it, but it is what it is. So we have Io Sky. We have the other side of the bracket that's the semifinals that's made after tonight, and then Femi's opponent was set tonight on the other side of the bracket. We'll kind of go over all the King of the Ring stuff Sunday. So that is your King and Queen of the Ring brackets. They definitely threw us for a loop tonight, or they definitely threw me for a loop, for sure, with the women's and the men's matches tonight. Definitely didn't expect either one of those to win at all. So I'm pulling up my notes from SmackDown. Sorry guys, I went over the brackets with you guys and got away from it. All right, so like I said, the show kicked off at 2 p.m. Eastern on streaming platforms like Netflix. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it. So Wade Barrett and Michael Cole are on commentary tonight for SmackDown. As I said, they're in at the Unipol Arena in Barcelona. Look back at the clash in Italy with a video package, and then out comes the ring general Gunther, who is very upset with everything that transpired at Clash in Italy when he was pinned by Cody Rhodes with his foot under the rope. My phone is really messing up. Sorry, guys. So Gunther comes out to interrupt. He interrupts the opening and cuts off the announcers, and he grabs the microphone and stands on one of the announce tables. Obviously, he throws stuff off the tables as well. Gunther is highly upset. Gunther says he says nothing has happened, nothing is going to happen tonight until he gets what he wants. Gunther says he wants justice for what happened at Clash in Italy. He says he has ring awareness like no one else, and he put his foot under the rope before the count. Gunther says the referee knew it, Cody Rhodes knew it, and Cody Rhodes took advantage of it. He says Cody cheated and took away what was rightfully his. Gunther says Cody can now walk around as the golden boy. I love that saying that now, and kiss up to everyone. Before he can continue on, we get the WWE Undisputed Champion. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes comes out. His music hits. He makes his way to the ring, while Gunther waits for him to finish his entrance. Cody Rhodes gets on the microphone. He tells Gunther, "You know what? You're right. His foot was under the rope." And Cody admits Gunther has enough experience to know how things work. Cody says controversial finishes happen. Sometimes you are the hero, while other times you are the one causing the damage. Cody says they don't need to drag this out. Said he will fight Gunther tonight. Give him his rematch tonight in Barcelona. Then we get Sami Zayn, who they're telling a very long story with Sammy and Cody. Sami Zayn's music hits. He comes out, stopped halfway down the ramp as he is reluctant to get in. And obviously, Sammy got a big ovation in Italy, so it's good to see because he definitely don't get that in the States. Sammy thanks the fans for their reaction and says that is the respect he's been looking for. Like I said, he doesn't really get cheered like that in the States. He says he tried to stay in the back, but he could not listen to Gunther complain about being robbed of a title shot when Cody and Gunther both did him wrong as well. Gunther gets on the microphone and tells Sammy this is about the championship. So this is about championship. This is a championship conversation, so it does not involve him. Sammy says Gunther is right. He has never held that title, but he knows what it is like to beat Gunther for a championship, as he did when he ended Gunther's Intercontinental Championship reign at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Cody gets on the microphone and tells Sammy he is not sure which version of him he is dealing with. He says Sammy is a good guy. Is it the good guy? He says Sammy beat Matt Cardona, but Cody is busy right now with Gunther. Sammy says that is exactly the problem with their friendship. Cody keeps blowing him off while looking for the next threat to his Undisputed Championship. Sammy says that threat might be looking in the mirror standing in front of him right now. Cody asks if Sammy really means that. Sammy says Cody wanted to beat Gunther and teach him a lesson. He said, Cody, you beat Gunther, so Sammy asked when you are going to teach him that lesson. Gunther then gets involved and shoves Sammy into Cody. Gunther then puts Cody Rhodes into a sleeper hold, but Sami Zayn comes in and pulls Gunther off. Gunther sends Sammy to the floor, and they fight outside. Cody goes for a suicide dive, but Gunther moves, and Cody takes out Sammy instead. Gunther and Sammy keep fighting on the floor. Cody tries to help Sammy up, but Sammy refuses his hand and walks away. So interesting stuff they're telling here. At first, I thought they were doing it looked like they were doing a triple threat, setting up for a triple threat at Night Champion. I don't know what WWE is doing now. They are changing so much stuff around, but it looks like Cody Rhodes will face Gunther in 2 weeks in Kansas City, Missouri for the Undisputed Championship. Another SmackDown with the title being on the line. So I don't know what their plans are. That's very close to Night of Champions. So we'll see. Backstage, we get Miz on the phone, and he is talking to Kit Wilson, who says he was not allowed in Italy because of his emotional support cats. Miz complains about the Cavaliers being out of the playoffs, and now the Browns are Myles Garrett was traded from the Browns for saying he's going to deal with Danhausen. Miz goes into the room and starts touching Danhausen's stuff. Danhausen comes out, tells Miz not to touch his stuff. Miz and Danhausen go back and forth about how it is not nice to come into someone's house uninvited. Miz starts throwing things around, but when he touches one of Danhausen's items, he shocks himself. So Miz got shocked by putting his hands all over Danhausen's stuff. Danhausen walks away while Miz is left motionless. You can hear Kit Wilson screaming for the Miz on the phone. So we're also backstage, and Gunther's still mad. He interrupts Nick Aldis while he's on the phone. Said he is sick of being treated like he does not belong. Nick Aldis fires back and says he is only giving Gunther the same level of respect that Gunther has shown him. Gunther does not back down. He tells Nick to fix the situation or his legal team will get involved. And we will see later on in the night that Nick Aldis did get a call from Gunther's legal team in regards to the situation with Cody Rhodes. So we'll go to the first matchup of the night. It is the Queen of the Ring first round match, fatal 4-way. But the winner of this match will move on to the semifinals and face Io Sky. It will be Bayley versus JC Jane of Fatal Influence versus Kiana James, who's the only person that come down with help. Julia, being from Italy, versus Member of the Judgment Day, Big Mommy Cool, Raquel Rodriguez. European crowd sings Bailey's song before the match gets going. And Bailey starts fast with forearms to Raquel, but Raquel quickly knocks her down. Kiana James and JC try to gang up on Raquel, but she fights them all both off. Bailey takes advantage and clotheslines Raquel over the top rope to the floor. She then hits a back elbow on JC Jane and catches Kiana with a cutter in the ropes. Bailey follows with a belly-to-belly suplex on JC for only a count of 2. Bailey then goes after Raquel with a dropkick to the ropes, but Kiana rolls Bailey up for a near fall. Bailey answers with a jackknife cover on Kiana James, but that only gets a count of 2. Kiana James comes back with a backslide, and JC gets a roll up on Bailey and Kiana for another near fall of 2. Bailey then puts JC Jane inside headlock. JC fights out with a forearm. Kiana then hits JC with a forearm before Raquel wipes everyone out with a crossbody. Raquel then takes control by kicking Kiana, driving JC into the corner with shoulder tackles. Bailey tries to fight back with forearm, but Raquel splashes her in the corner and sends her hard into the turnbuckles. Raquel then throws JC into the corner and hits some deep elbows before dropping Kiana with a vertical chokeslam for only a count of 2. Raquel keeps the pressure on, hitting snake eyes on Kiana, while JC gets sent to the floor on the outside. Raquel charges at Bailey, but Bailey ducks, and Raquel goes over the top rope. Raquel still pulls Bailey outside and hits a hot shot on her on the announce desk. JC tries to get involved with a kick, but Raquel blocks her cannonball attempt. Raquel blocks a double Irish whip into the steps, but Bailey comes from behind to help send Raquel into the steps. JC Jane hits a cannonball up the apron onto Bailey and Kiana James. JC and Bailey are back in the ring, where JC hits a running neck breaker for only a count of 2 on Bailey. JC keeps working Bailey over with kicks, a chuck in the corner, snap mare, a kick to the back, then she hits a thrust kick and a back senton for only a count of 2. Kiana James then goes for a counter roll, but JC holds the rope and drops her with a clothesline. JC misses an elbow in the corner, allowing Kiana to fire back with shoulders to JC and Bailey. Kiana misses a shoulder in the corner, and JC hits cannonballs on both Bailey and Kiana. Raquel then comes back in after being sent to the outside on the announce desk, and she wipes out JC with a punch. Bailey tries for a sunset flip powerbomb on Raquel into the turnbuckles, but Raquel blocks it and sends Bailey into Kiana instead. Raquel Rodriguez follows with the double Vader bomb elbow drop for only a count of 2. Raquel and Bailey fight on the turnbuckles until JC pulls Raquel down and hits a super kick. JC goes up for a Frankensteiner on Bailey, but Raquel powerbombs Bailey into JC. Raquel then hits a double choke slam on Bailey and JC Jane, but Kiana breaks up the cover at 2 with a slingshot splash onto Raquel. JC rolls to the floor as Kiana and Raquel trade punches. Kiana lands forearms, but Raquel answers with a shoulder tackle. Raquel sends JC into the turnbuckles and grabs a waistlock, but JC escapes with elbows and jumps on Raquel's back with a sleeper hold. Raquel shakes her off with a snap mare and follows with another shoulder tackle. Bailey gets back involved by running Raquel into the corner and hitting shoulder tackles. She follows her with old school elbow in the corner. She kicks JC and drops an elbow on Raquel's back for only a count of 2. Bailey hits the Bailey suplex on JC, then sends her to the turnbuckles with a sunset flip powerbomb for only a count of 2. Kiana quickly jumps in and gets a near fall on Bailey as well. Raquel then grabs Kiana by the throat, and Kiana flips out and lands on her feet. Raquel drops her with a clothesline, but only gets a count of 2. JC then attacks Kiana from behind and sends her face first into the mat, but Bailey catches JC with a running knee from the apron. Bailey goes to the top rope and hits the elbow drop, but only gets a count of 2. Kiana gets Bailey on her shoulders, but Bailey escapes looking for a belly-to-belly suplex. Kiana counters and hits the deal breaker, then follows with the moonsault, but only gets 2. On the outside, JC shoves Julia down. JC then nails Kiana with a forearm, but Bailey knocks JC off the apron. Kiana rolls up Bailey, but Julia pushes JC, and Kiana thinks Julia cost her the match. Bailey then hits the rose plant on Kiana James, but JC drops Bailey with a rolling elbow. Raquel then gets back into the action and hits Kiana James with the Tahana bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Raquel Rodriguez has advanced in the Queen of the Ring tournament and will go on to the semifinals where she will meet Io Sky. This was a good match. I'm a little hesitant about the winner because they have been pushing JC, but maybe they will do something with her for Money in the Bank. I don't know. It kind of leads me to wonder what they're going to do for the rest of this tournament. They're going to have Raquel win this tournament. We'll see. So Raquel Rodriguez has advanced in the Fatal 4-Way first round match in the Queen of the Ring tournament. And now she will move on to the semifinals and face Io Sky. After the match, Julia checks on Kiana, but Kiana pushes her away and tells her she's done. She blames her for everything. Kiana says she did all this for Julia. Julia snaps and takes Kiana down with a death press before unloading with punches on Kiana. Julia then kicks Kiana, sending her to the floor. So Julia's had enough. She did a babyface turn on Kiana James tonight. So we go backstage. Sami Zayn vents his frustration and runs into Johnny Gargano, who is laying on a crate as always. Don't know what they're doing with him. Sami tells Johnny everyone keeps calling him the bad guy. He finally stood up for himself, but Cody Rhodes still found a way to take him out. Sami says guys like them always seem to get the short end of the stick. Nick Aldis walks in while Sami Zayn is talking to Gargano. He approaches and he tells Sami he wants to talk. Sami asks what about, and Nick Aldis tells him to stay out of Gunther and Cody Rhodes' business. Nick Aldis says Sami only made the situation worse. Sami asks why is he being told not to defend himself. Nick Aldis says he has another meeting to get to. Sami questions who could be so important that Nick Aldis cannot spare another minute. Sami turns around and we see Chad Gable back on WWE television. And the crowd popped very loud for Chad Gable. Nick Aldis says they can continue the conversation another time with Sami and Chad Gable. That had a very intense stare down before leaving. Chad Gable had a huge pop from the WWE fans in Bologna, Italy. So we'll go to the next matchup of the night, where we will see a member of the MFTs who looks to be getting a push against Royce Keys. Royce Keys will going one-on-one with Tala Tonga from the MFTs. So Tala Tonga and Royce Keys start by testing each other's strength before Tala Tonga shoves Royce Keys in the face. Royce Keys fires back with punches and tries shoulder tackles, but Tala Tonga barely moves. Two big guys right here. Tala Tonga drops Royce Keys with a shoulder tackle of his own, shuts down an early slam attempt with forearms and an uppercut. Two exchange punches before Tala Tonga tries another slam. Royce Keys escapes, lands a clothesline, but Tala Tonga stays standing. Second clothesline sends Tala over the top rope, though he lands on his feet. Tala Tonga quickly regains control on the outside, driving Royce Keys into the apron, the announce table, and the ring post before bringing him back into the ring and chucking him in the ropes. Tala Tonga continues to dominate with the side slam, an elbow drop, and a nerve hold on Royce Keys. Royce Keys tries to rally back and attempt to slam, but collapses under Tala Tonga's weight. After Tala Tonga misses a Yakuza kick in the corner, Royce Keys mounts a comeback with a series of lariats and clotheslines. He escapes a chokeslam attempt and capitalizes when Tala Tonga misses a corner splash, following up with a running shoulder tackle that finally takes the big man off his feet. Royce Keys hits a power slam and looks ready to finish the match, but Solo Sikoa gets on the apron to obviously interfere. Tama Tonga then trips Royce Keys from the outside. Royce Keys fights Tama Tonga off, but the distraction is enough. When Keys returns to the ring, Tala Tonga catches Royce Keys with a choke slam for the 1, 2, 3. Tala Tonga gets the victory over Royce Keys tonight. After the match, Tala Tonga and Tama Tonga continue the attack on Royce Keys, but out comes R-Truth, one half of WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. R-Truth rushes to the ring, goes after Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa. Batala quickly cuts him off. Damian Priest then comes out, pulls R-Truth to safety, and tells him that this has to stop. The beatdown continues as Tama Tonga finishes Royce Keys off with a cutthroat. Damian Priest is not happy with R-Truth getting involved in this Royce Keys and MFT situation. So then we go backstage with the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough, and Liv Morgan are talking in a stairwell when Raquel Rodriguez, who just came out of a hard-fought victory and has advanced in the Queen of the Ring tournament, where she will be facing Io Sky in the semifinals. Liv Morgan says she and Raquel could meet in the Queen of the Ring finals. So they're kind of putting it out there. Dominic brings up his upcoming rematch and Liv says they could end up as King and Queen of the Ring, talking about her and Dominic. Raquel looks confused and asks why Liv would even say that, saying, I thought you said me and you could be in the Queen of the Ring finals. After a commercial break, a video package airs for Finn Balor. Finn Balor says that no matter the situation or match, he always shines. Finn Balor has been moved to the SmackDown roster. Balor says no matter the situation or match, he always shines. He says every opportunity that comes his way proves he can stand toe-to-toe with the best, but he wants more. Finn Balor says he wants it all. It is then announced that Finn Balor will compete next week on SmackDown in the first round fatal four-way of the King of the Ring, with the qualifying match against Finn Balor versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Royce Keys next week on SmackDown, with the winner of that match going on to face the other first round match with Seth Rollins. I don't have the bracket near me, but I believe it's Seth Rollins, Ricky Saints, I think it may be Tama Tonga. I'm not quite sure the other one is. But then we go backstage again with the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Damian Priest tells R-Truth that he does not even know Royce Keys and questions why R-Truth keeps feeling the need to help him. Damian Priest tells R-Truth he says he is his partner and that his focus is on his King of the Ring match tonight and SummerSlam. R-Truth suggests they should check on Royce Keys, but Royce Keys points out that R-Truth is not a doctor. Then R-Truth tells him that his brother was a doctor, and it was the doctor of Thugonomics, referring to John Cena. Damian Priest gets frustrated and walks off. Then we see another newest member of the tag team division, and they are the AAA tag team champions, the War Raiders. Eric and Albar interrupt the conversation and remind Priest and Truth that they are the AAA tag team champions. They said they are ready to defend the titles against them. They will pull up their titles as well. Another tournament match in the first round for the Women's Queen of the Ring. It will take place next week on SmackDown. It is Sol Ruka versus Lara Valkyria versus Charlotte Flair versus Jade Cargill. It will happen next week on SmackDown as well. So we go to the next segment, and it is and she looks a little injured. She was walking with a brace wrapped around her knee. She was walking really gingerly on that knee as well. So it is the SmackDown Women's Champion who defeated Jade Cargill at Clash in Italy. The Eradicator, Rhea Ripley. She makes her way down to the ring. Michael Cole in commentary points out that Rhea Ripley is still limping from the injury she suffered at Clash in Italy, which I think it happened at a house show, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Rhea gets on the microphone after a big ovation from the crowd in Bologna. Says she finally put her rivalry with Jade Cargill behind her at Clash in Italy, but she did not leave the match without damage. She admits her knee is still hurting. It says Jade's plan was to take her out and use the numbers advantage against her. Rhea says Jade fell because she is still the SmackDown Women's Champion. She also says she received some unexpected help from, and her music hits. It is the Queen. Charlotte Flair's music interrupts, and she joins Rhea Ripley in the ring. Charlotte Flair gets on the microphone. Big, huge tease here for an upcoming match with Charlotte and Rhea. Don't know when it's going to happen. It could be SummerSlam. Charlotte says she knows Rhea never asked for help, but she stepped in because she respects her. Charlotte says she enjoyed teaming with Rhea, but the Queen of the Ring is underway now. Her competitive side has taken over. Charlotte reminds everyone she is a 14-time women's heavyweight champion and says while teaming with Rhea was fun, beating her at SummerSlam would be even better because Rhea has something that she wants. It is the SmackDown Women's Championship. But before the conversation can continue any longer, we hear the music of the WWE SmackDown United States Champion, Women's United States Champion, Tiffany Stratton. She makes her way to the ring. Quite an interesting segment here, but they have been teaming up on the house shows and the European tour. Tiffany, Rhea, and Charlotte were teaming up. Tiffany Stratton makes her way down to the ring, and she says, if Rhea and Charlotte were standing out there without fighting, if you told her this time last year, if Rhea and Charlotte were standing out there without fighting, she would think something was wrong. Charlotte then asks Tiffany if she came out to apologize. Tiffany says that would be crazy. Tiffany says she already has the United States Championship, but she tells Rhea Ripley she wants her title too. Then we get the former WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, along with Michin and B5. Jade Cargill makes her way out. She says, stop what we have going on right now. Jade says Charlotte did not say Rhea at Clash in Italy and only inserted herself into the title picture again. She warns Charlotte that decision will come back on her. Jade also tells Tiffany to stay out of grown folks' business because she and Jade have been doing this for a while. Jade then turns her attention to Rhea and tells her to enjoy the championship while she can because she is coming for it. She's coming for it right now. But out comes Nick Aldis, as always, and says Rhea is not medically cleared to compete tonight. Before he can finish, Charlotte Flair cuts him off and suggests a tag team match instead. Charlotte Flair proposes that she team with Tiffany Stratton against Jade and one of her, what she call her, back dancers or one of her accomplices over there, eating her beef out. Nick Aldis likes the idea and makes the match official. So the match is official. Michin and Jade Cargill will face Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, which, you know, if you had told me this last year that Charlotte and Tiffany would be teaming up, I've said you're crazy. But we will have the matchup. Charlotte Flair and the Women's United States Champion Tiffany Stratton will be facing Michin and Jade Cargill. So the match starts off pretty decent match. I don't know what they're doing with the booking, but Charlotte Flair and Michin start off the match. After a lockup, Charlotte backs Michin into the corner, immediately makes it clear she wants Jade Cargill in the ring. This definitely could be a SummerSlam match for Jade. Jade and Charlotte are also involved in the first round match on the Women's Queen of the Ring. Michin answers with the waist lock, but Charlotte reverses it. Michin then takes Charlotte down with a head scissors before Charlotte counters with the knee and traps her in a figure four head scissors, rolling her around the ring. Charlotte nearly collides with Jade on the apron, creating an opening for Michin to hit a German suplex. Tiffany Stratton tags in and tries to pick up the pace. Michin blocks a kick and lands a punch. Tiffany Stratton responds with a drop toe hold and a running hip attack to the back and a drop kick for a 2 count. Jade tags in and immediately changes the momentum of the match. She catches Tiffany during a crossbody attempt and launches her with the fallaway slam. Jade follows up with an elbow in the corner and a spine buster for only a count of 2. Michin tags back in and unloads with forearm. She tries for a slam. Tiffany Stratton escapes and answers with a discus clothesline. However, Charlotte had already made a blind tag before the move. Charlotte Flair comes in with a crossbody and a walkover clothesline before lighting Michin up with chops. Michin fires back with an elbow. Charlotte responds with the kick. After being sent to the corner, Charlotte hits her trademark Ric Flair flip on the outside and knocks Michin, Jade Cargill, and B5 off the apron, all with big boots. Charlotte then dives off the apron onto Jade Cargill and B5. Michin answers with a suicide dive before bringing Charlotte back into the ring for only a count of 2. Meechin stays in control with punches and sends Charlotte into the turnbuckle. After Jade sneaks in a cheap shot from the apron, Meechin goes for another pinfall but only gets a count of 2. Jade finally gets the tag in and takes over, stomping Charlotte down, chucking her in the corner. Charlotte fights back with chops, but Jade sends her into the apron and continues the attack. Jade then goes for the pinfall a few times. Charlotte kicks out at 2, including after a suplex and a clothesline. Charlotte nearly steals the match with the roll-up, but Jade kicks out. Meechin tags back in and drives her shoulder into Charlotte in the corner before locking in a rear naked chokehold. Charlotte Flair finally creates some separation with a belly to back suplex, leaving both women down. Meechin tries to stop her from reaching Tiffany Stratton, but Charlotte fights through with forearm. She knocks Jade off the apron with an elbow and kicks Meechin away. But the distraction allows Jade to sneak in a forearm while the referee is occupied. Meechin capitalizes with the famous AJ Styles Clash and nearly wins the match before Tiffany Stratton breaks up the count at 2, saves Charlotte Flair. Meechin then tries to lock in a figure 4, but Charlotte Flair counters into a roll-up for only a count of 2. Moments later, Meechin charges into the corner. Charlotte moves and sends her shoulder first into the ring post. Tiffany gets the hot tag and runs wild with clotheslines, a back elbow, and a drop kick that knocks Jade Cargill off the apron. She follows up with a cartwheel into an Alabama slam, goes up to the top rope, and hits a swanton bomb for only a count of 2. Tiffany keeps the pressure on, but Meechin catches her with a Pele kick. Jade Cargill tags in and immediately gets involved, only for Tiffany to hit a handspring stunner for a 2 count. Charlotte Flair and Meechin brawl to the floor, take each other out, leaving Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill alone in the ring. 2 exchange forearms before Tiffany lands a knee and a kick. She tries for another Alabama slam, but Jade blocks it and counters with the sit-down powerbomb for a near fall. Charlotte Flair pulls Meechin off the apron, but the fight continues on the floor as Charlotte sends Meechin into the ring steps. B5 gets involved and catches Charlotte with a bicycle kick. Back in the ring, Tiffany Stratton counters Jaded. Jade Cargill goes for the Jaded on Tiffany. Tiffany counters it with a victory roll for only a count of 2. Tiffany Stratton then heads up to the top rope. Jade Cargill cuts her off and leaves her perched on the turnbuckles. Jade Cargill then hits her finishing move on the Women's United States Champion Tiffany Stratton. She hits her with a Jaded and gets the 1, 2, 3. Her success against Tiffany Stratton continues as Jade Cargill pins the Women's United States Champion in the middle of the ring with the Jaded. Winners of the match is Jade Cargill and Meechin. Shout out to everyone that's listening live here on the EVP show on my X or on DWE TV's X page. Make sure you follow DWE TV on X for all the content, all the people that's involved with DWE. If you are watching live on my YouTube channel, please hit that like button on the YouTube stream. Thank you guys so much for that. But Jade Cargill and Meechin were victorious tonight against Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. So Fatal Influence is walking in the back. JC Jane is obviously distraught about not coming out victorious in her women's Queen of the Ring first round match tonight. Kathy Kelly is catching up with Fatal Influence. JC Jane says, "This isn't the time or place. Read the room" to Kathy Kelly. JC Jane says she's on a different level than everyone else, and she insists she is better than the rest of the women's division here on SmackDown. The group then approaches a photo shoot featuring the women's tag team champions Brie Bella and Paige. Brie quickly points out that JC Jane lost her first match on the main roster earlier tonight. That comment sparks a fight out of nowhere. Fallon Henley and Lady Reed attack the women's tag team champions Brie Bella and Paige from behind while JC joins in. Brie and Paige try to fight back, but the numbers are too much. Fatal Influence leaves the scene standing tall with the women's SmackDown tag team champions. Brie Bella and Paige were laid out by fatal influence. So they're definitely doing something there with Brie Bella and Paige, and probably, in my opinion, Fallon Henley and Laney Reed for those SmackDown Tag Team Championships. After the break, R-Truth against Damian Priest's better will checks on Royce Keys. Royce Keys thanks R-Truth for having his back after the attack early in the night. R-Truth tells Royce Keys that once he gets to know Damian Priest, he will like him. R-Truth says that if they can all get on the same page, they can all take care of the MFTs. Royce Keys says he did not really care about Damian Priest, and Priest does not care about him either, but they are good. So a lot of dissension there. So we go to the next matchup of the night, which I thought this was the third time that these guys have been in action, but people in my chat said it was only the second time. Carmelo Hayes going one-on-one with the absolute Ricky Saints. One-on-one. So this was a good match, as always. These two are really good in the ring, so no surprise that this was probably the best in-ring match of the night. I mean, the men's fatal four-way was pretty good to end, but I think this was the best overall technical match. So they start off. Ricky Saints attacks Carmelo from behind before the match even starts. Once the referee officially calls for the bell, Ricky Saints keeps control with chops. Carmelo Hayes quickly fights back and sends him over the top rope to the floor. Carmelo follows with a flip dive to the outside, then gets Ricky Saints back in the ring and hits the frog splash for only a count of 2. Carmelo Hayes looks for the first 48 early, but Ricky Saints sees it coming and rolls to the floor. Carmelo Hayes chases him around the ring, but Ricky Saints catches him with a kick and a chop. Ricky Saints gets Carmelo Hayes on his shoulders, but Hayes escapes and hits a springboard clothesline before sending Saints to the floor. Carmelo Hayes follows Ricky Saints to the floor and sends him into the ringside barricade. Carmelo Hayes keeps the pressure on with chops and climbs the turnbuckles to punch Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints pulls him down and turns things around with a clothesline. Ricky Saints takes control with chops, hits an old school and a slam and a knee drop before stopping to pose. He keeps working over Carmelo Hayes with strikes, a snapmare, and a knee to the midsection and a bulldog for a count of 2. Carmelo Hayes finally creates an opening when Ricky Saints runs into his boots in the corner. Carmelo comes off the turnbuckle to Ricky Saints, catches him for a suplex attempt. Carmelo counters into a DDT, but both men start trading punches. Carmelo Hayes hits La Mystica for a near fall. Ricky Saints blocks the first 48 and gets a near fall of his own. They trade several pin attempts before Carmelo Hayes rolls Ricky Saints up, only for Ricky Saints to answer with a tornado DDT for another near fall. Ricky Saints goes for a powerbomb, but Carmelo Hayes escapes and finally hits first 48. But Ricky Saints still kicks out. Carmelo Hayes goes to the top rope, but Ricky Saints knocks him down by hitting the ropes. And Carmelo Hayes falls on a turnbuckle on a terrible part. Carmelo Hayes falls to the floor, and Ricky Saints sends him over the ringside barricade into the crowd. Carmelo Hayes tries to fight back from the barricade, but Ricky Saints catches him with a shot to the throat. Carmelo Hayes barely beats the referee's count back into the ring, got back in about 9. Ricky Saints keeps attacking him and then argues with the referee, giving Carmelo Hayes an opening for a roll-up, but he only gets a count of 2. Carmelo Hayes follows it with a thrust kick, but misses a springboard clothesline. He then goes for the Arcana roll, but Ricky Saints rolls through and grabs the tights for the 1, 2, 3. So Carmelo got the victory in their last matchup. Ricky Saints wins the match with the roll through, and he grabbed the tights for the 1, 2, 3. Ricky Saints has defeated Carmelo Hayes. Don't think this is the last that we've seen of this, ladies and gentlemen. Backstage, Kathy Kelly is with the men's United States champion, Trick Williams, and she asked Trick about his King of the Ring tournament match later tonight. Trick Williams says he is only focused on himself. He says he was entertained by the Siamese twins in the ring earlier and tells the peasants to keep fighting, talking about Carmelo and Ricky. Trick says his name is about to be added to the list of greats. He is going to punch his ticket to Minneapolis and SummerSlam. Then we get a stare down, or something we're going to see for years to come in WrestleMania main event. It is the badass Brian Breaker. He walks up, and him and Trick Williams have a massive stare down. Trick stares back, and Brian Breaker walks away. We will see them later tonight in the Fatal 4-Way to see who's going on to face Obafemi in the Men's King of the Ring tournament. Elsewhere backstage, the Women's United States Champion, who was just pinned by Jay Cargill, Tiffany Stratton, is walking, holding her ribcage, walking. Chelsea Green comes to approach Tiffany Stratton. Chelsea asked why Tiffany did not tell her what was going on because she would have came out to help. Tiffany Stratton says she did not think she needed Chelsea out there. Chelsea says she appreciates Tiffany trying to protect her, and now she needs Tiffany to be there for her tonight. Tiffany says she cannot go out because she has to go to the trainer's room. Chelsea Green has a match coming up one-on-one with one half of the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend. Another vignette for Blake Monroe. I just don't know what they're doing creatively. Blake Monroe is shown at the pool and sends a message to Tiffany Stratton. She says Tiffany's rise to the top has been impressive and that looking at Tiffany is like looking in a mirror. It's something that she loves to do. Blake says when they finally meet, it will be the box office match fans want to see. She then warns that Tiffany time is about to run into a Monroe minute. So another video package segment from Blake Monroe, and now she is. Last week she talked about Rhea Ripley, and now she's talking about the Women's United States Champion, Tiffany Stratton. So look for Blake Monroe to be on SmackDown when they get to London in a couple of weeks. I think that's the plan for Blake since she's from there. Shout out to the 101 people that's watching live. So we go to the next matchup of the night. As I said earlier, Chelsea Green is going one-on-one with one half of the Irresistible Forces, Lash Legend, who is accompanied by Nia Jax. Chelsea Green has no help. One-on-one. Lash Legend keeps Chelsea Green from escaping early. Chelsea Green lands a punch and rolls to the floor to avoid Lash. Chelsea gets back in and catches Lash with a boot to the head and a code breaker. Lash quickly takes control with a shoulder tackle and sends Chelsea face first into the mat. Lash follows with the boot to the midsection and a splash for only a count of 2. She puts Chelsea in a bear hug and tosses her to the floor. While Lash Legend distracts the referee, Nia Jax sends Chelsea Green into the apron. Chelsea tries to fight back with her shoulder and goes for a sunset flip, but Lash Legend blocks it and hits a bicycle kick for only a count of 2. Lash misses the splash, allowing Chelsea to fire back with kicks and double knees. Chelsea tries a clothesline, but Lash stays on her feet. Chelsea then hits a baseball slide on Nia Jax on the outside and drops Lash across the top rope. Chelsea pulls the rope down to send Lash Legend to the floor. That move kind of took a while to happen. Then she goes and hits a crossbody off the turnbuckles, off the top rope, onto Nia Jax and Lash Legend on the floor. Back in the ring, Chelsea connects with the missile drop kick on Lash for only a count of 2. Chelsea Green then goes for her finisher move, the Unprettier. The Lash Legend blocks it, turns it around, and hits the last extension on Chelsea Green for the 1, 2, 3. So Lash Legend gets the pinfall victory tonight over Chelsea Green. She goes to pose on the top ropes. So Michael Cole and Wade Barrett on the outside commentators table. Michael Cole says they're going to take a look back at what happened with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu on the acknowledgement ceremony that happened Monday on Raw. Jacob Fatu acknowledged EW Raw Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. Backstage, another backstage segment. Royce Keys is approached by Solo Sikoa. Royce Keys warns Solo to be careful with what he says. Solo asks Royce Keys if Royce Keys watched what happened to his good buddy Jacob Fatu on Monday. He says Royce Keys has no one watching his back now because Jacob is gone. Damian Priest does not care about him. Royce Keys says he did not work this hard for years just to come and fall in line to Solo Sikoa, basically. So he said, yeah, you worked hard. He said, Solo asked if anyone else called him. Did the Usos call him? Did Roman call him? Did Jacob call him? No, it was Solo Sikoa. Solo then says he brought Jacob Fatu in. He said he also brought Talatonga and Tamatonga in and made them champions because they listened to him. Solo then tells Royce Keys they need to get ready for war. As I always say on Scoops, make sure you pay attention to everything that's said in these interviews. That is setting up the Bloodline versus MFT War Games match in Survivor Series. He tells Royce Keys to stop being so difficult, or Solo Sikoa says he will make things difficult for him. So definitely a prelude. I can see Royce Keys joining up with MFTs, especially for War Games. Danhausen then comes out with a t-shirt cannon and throws shirts into the crowd. He says The Miz destroyed some of his personal heirlooms, but then blames Wade Barrett for it. Hopefully Wade doesn't get cursed. So then we take a look back at the Mass versus Mass match from AAA, which is being rated as one of the highest rated matches of 2026 and maybe in a long time. Backstage, Axiom congratulates Ray Phoenix on winning the title over the weekend at the AAA event. Nathan Frazier says he would love a shot at the championship, and Ray says he is open to it. But then we get the arrival of Chad Gable, one of the former Americanos from this past weekend at the Mass versus Mass match. Chad Gable walks up and says he needs a minute to talk to Ray Phoenix. Chad Gable brings up their match from last year and says the mask started as a way to mock the luchadors in the ring. He says the longer he wore it, the more he realized it was not a joke. Chad Gable says Ray was doing it for his culture, and he apologizes. Ray says Chad understands the culture now and that losing the mask was painful enough. Ray Phoenix forgives him, but reminds him that he was not the only person that Chad Gable insulted. So Chad Gable trying to make right by some of the people he insulted when he was El Grande Americano. Also backstage, Nick Aldis stops the SmackDown Heavyweight Champion Cody Rhodes and asks if his offer for a rematch with Gunther still stands. Nick Aldis says they will accept the rematch under one condition, and that everyone will find out next week. He said he got a call from Gunther's legal team, but Gunther says he wants to make a stipulation for the match coming up 2 weeks in Kansas City for the SmackDown Championship. Gunther wants to be the one to make the stipulation for it. Cody says he does not want to wait any longer than 2 weeks, so the match will happen in Kansas City on SmackDown. So next week on SmackDown, we will find out from Gunther the stipulation for the SmackDown Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther in 2 weeks in Kansas City. So we go to the main event of the night and the first round match to see who will go on to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament to face Obafemi will be the United States champion Trick Williams versus one half of the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Damian Priest versus the AAA Mega Champion Dominic Mysterio versus one half of the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Badass Braun Breaker. They all do their long entrances as always. So Braun Breaker opens the match by hitting Trick Williams with a German suplex. Dominic Mysterio immediately bails to the floor, leaving Braun and Damian Priest to trade punches. Braun Breaker drops Damian Priest with a German suplex and does the same to Trick before knocking Dom off the apron. But Morgan is also out there with Dominic Mysterio, and she proved to be crucial in the ending. Damian Priest fires back. Braun cuts him off with a huge clothesline. Braun then goes outside after Dom and hits a flying shoulder tackle before jumping onto the announce table off the floor. Braun Breaker just jumped feet first on the announce table. He's such an animal. Braun Breaker then sends Dom into the apron, but Trick attacks Braun and sends Dominic Mysterio over the announce table. Back in the ring, Dominic tries to fight Trick, but he wants no part of Damian Priest. Damian Priest unloads on Dom with strikes and a flying back elbow before going face to face with United States Champion Trick Williams. Damian Priest and Trick trade forearms and chops while Braun Breaker continues to punish Dom on the outside. Trick brings Dom back into the ring as Braun Breaker goes after Damian Priest. Priest eventually sends Braun to the floor while Trick attacks both Dominic and Damian Priest. Dominic catches Trick with an enziguri, but when Braun returns, Dom and Priest team up to hit him with a double super kick. Damian Priest takes over from there, dropping everyone with clotheslines, kicks, and a cyclone kick. He sends Trick and Braun to the floor before turning his attention back to Dominic Mysterio. Dominic tries to fight back. Damian Priest drops him with a thrust kick. Damian Priest looks for the rebound clothesline, but Dom counters, kicks. Dominic then runs into a boot. Braun Breaker suddenly leaps to the turnbuckles and hits Damian Priest with the Frankensteiner for only a count of 2. Dominic tries to suplex Braun, but Braun powers out and presses Dominic Mysterio over his head, turns it into a power slam for a pinfall attempt, but Dominic kicks out at 2. Trick Williams and Braun Breaker trade punches before Trick catches Braun with a jumping side kick. Trick then unloads on Damian Priest, but when he goes for a clothesline, Priest ducks and Trick hits Dominic Mysterio instead. Trick follows with a jumping neckbreaker on Damian Priest and works over Dom in the corner. Trick Williams hits Braun Breaker with a Uranagi for a near fall. I didn't even look to see, but I don't know. Okay. Damian Priest ends up on the apron, but he kicks Trick Williams away. Dominic tries to set Priest up for a superplex, but Trick gets under Dom and lifts him onto his shoulders. Damian Priest then punches Dominic and starts boxing his ears. Braun Breaker then tries for another Frankensteiner. Damian Priest blocks it. Trick Williams comes up under there and joins the tower, leading to a double superplex that takes everyone down. Everyone is down in the ring. Dominic tries to steal the win by covering Damian Priest. Braun and Trick one after another, but each one kicks out at 2. Dominic then starts kicking everyone, making sure nobody feels left out. Trick fires back on Dom with punches, forearms, and chops. Dominic and Trick trade chops until Damian Priest sends Braun to the floor, turns his attention to Dominic Mysterio again. Damian Priest sends Dom crashing into Trick in the corner and goes for a pinfall, but only gets 2. Damian Priest kicks Trick while Braun drops his shoulder into Dom in the corner, chucks him against the ropes. Braun Breaker runs into a boot from Dominic Mysterio, but he keeps fighting and punches him. Damian Priest sends Trick to the floor, while Braun Breaker misses a charge in the corner, crashes into the ring post. Dominic Mysterio chops Damian Priest, but Damian Priest grabs him and hits Razor's Edge. Damian Priest goes for the cover, but Liv Morgan gets on the apron to distract the referee and stop the count. Braun Breaker gets back in and presses Damian Priest over his head, which looked like his leg or knee gave out on that, before dropping him to the mat. He then follows with the weird side slam he did to Trick Williams, looked like the knee was bothering him again. Dom catches Braun with a thrust kick, drop kicks him into the ropes. Dominic Mysterio goes for a 619. Damian Priest stops him with a punch. Braun Breaker avoids Damian Priest's cyclone kick, drops him with a spear before sending Dominic Mysterio to the floor. Trick Williams back in the ring blasts Braun with a knee. Looks like he has the match won. Dominic Mysterio pulls the referee out of the ring before he counts to 3. There's no disqualification. To break up the count, Trick Williams goes after Dom and he hits him with a back fist. He slaps Dominic. He does a back slap to Dominic. Braun Breaker then clotheslines Trick over the top rope and follows with another clothesline from the apron, sending Trick over the announce table. Braun and Trick Williams is down after the big landing on the announce table. Dominic then drop kicks Damian Priest in the back and sends him to the ropes, but Priest comes back with a clothesline. And then out comes another member of the Judgment Day, JD McDonough, comes off the turnbuckle, but Damian Priest catches him and hits out to heaven on JD McDonough. Damian Priest then grabs Dominic Mysterio for South to Heaven. Liv Morgan gets involved again and comes into the ring and delivers a low blow to Damian Priest. Dominic Mysterio comes in and follows with a drop kick that sends Damian Priest into the ropes. He hits the 619, goes up top rope, and connects with the frog splash for the 1-2-3. Dominic Mysterio has pinned Damian Priest, and he gets the big victory in the first round of, I call it the Champions first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Dominic Mysterio now moves on to the semifinals where he will face the ruler of Wwe. That was the show, everyone. So quite interesting on the picks for WWE's circle that they went to for the women's Queen of the Ring, and also they definitely swerved with the Dominic Mysterio win. But they did say, it did come out that WWE doesn't. Dominic and Liv were frustrated about their directions with WWE's creative. So it was a good match, though. Dominic proved why he's, who he is. He lost, cheat and steal to win the match. So we'll go over the updated King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring brackets as of right now. On the left side of the bracket, now facing off in the semifinals with the winner moving on to Night of Champions. In the finals of the King of the Ring tournament, Obafemi will be going one-on-one with Dominic Mysterio. Next week on Friday Night SmackDown, and one of the Fatal 4-Way first round matches, we will see Jey Uso, LA Knight. Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Royce Keys versus Finn Balor. I don't know what they do here. I mean, do you have Finn win to go to the semis to face Seth Rollins? And the other half on that side of the bracket, we will see, I guess it'll be on Raw. I think it's happening this week on Raw. Seth Rollins versus Javon Evans versus Tala Tonga versus Ricky Saints. The winner of the Seth Rollins match will face the winner of the Jey Uso, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor match in the semifinals. The winner of that match moving on to the Night of Champions final to see who will get the championship match at SummerSlam. And on the women's side, the right side of the bracket is now complete, as Io Sky will face Raquel Rodriguez in the semifinals. Next week on Friday Night SmackDown, we will see the first half of Monday. On Monday on Raw, we're going to see the women's Raw Heavyweight Champion, Liv Morgan, who was very instrumental in Dominic Mysterio's win tonight. She will be facing Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green, with the winner of that match going to the semifinals to face the winner of Sol Ruca, the Women's Intercontinental Champion, which she won at Clash in Italy. Congratulations to her. Sol Ruca versus Lyra Valkyria versus the 14-time Women's World Heavyweight Champion, Charlotte Flair, and the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Jade Cargill. The winner of the Sol Ruca, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill match will face the winner of Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green in the other semifinal to see who will go on to Night of Champions in the championship of the finals of the Queen of the Ring. The winner getting a championship match at SummerSlam. So this has been your SmackDown recap show live here on the EVP show. Shout out to the 120 people listening live, either on the EVP show channel, my X, or DWE Television X page. Make sure you follow DWE Television and everyone that's affiliated with DWE Television, Miami the Great. The final boss lady, make sure you follow them and their YouTube page as well, which is Talk It Up Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Also, tune in Monday, an hour before Monday Night Raw, to the World of Greg and Kyle the Man Anthony for the rundown, as they will run down the card for Monday Night Raw, and I will be back Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. After that, after Raw goes off, to do the Monday Night Raw recap show. But make sure you tune into the World of Greg and Kyle Anthony every Monday for the rundown. Also follow Director Reg. After Slam Podcast, follow him on X and on YouTube. He's got a lot of big things coming up in the month of June. Also, the Smoke Sessions Podcast and the Sports Jedi Network. Make sure you follow them all on X and on YouTube as well. Hit the like and subscribe button. So this has been the SmackDown recap live here on the EVP show, Friday, June 5th, 2026, as we make our way to the next week of action and we get a step closer to Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. I will be back to tell all you guys where you can find me on my socials, what I have coming up for the rest of this weekend and next week. Whoops, wrong button.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go, show recaps predictions sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go.
All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in to the SmackDown Recap live here on the EVP show, Friday, June 5th, 2026. Glad to be back with you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy SmackDown. This European tour is kind of nice because we can catch all these, the Raw and SmackDown early, and we can have the rest of the night. But thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure if you do go back and watch this video live on YouTube, hit the like button and leave some comments and tell me what you guys thought of SmackDown tonight. Anything you guys liked or disliked. And I will go back and check the comments and get back with you guys on that. So appreciate that. As far as where you can find me on my socials, all my links are in my bio. It is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You will be able to find my YouTube page on any of my social media platforms. First off, on X, you can find me at EVPCJP. Once you follow me on X, you will see all the way up at the top half, the very top of my X page, my YouTube page, as is pinned at the very top. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and hit the retweet button on X and share this link with all of your friends so they can come in and enjoy daily wrestling content. As far as Instagram, you can find me at EVPCJP. It is a business account. That's where I post all the videos that Miami and the World of Greg make for my upcoming streams. You can find me on Instagram again at EVPCJP, and my YouTube page is in my link or in my bio at the top of my page. As far as TikTok, same thing. I post all my videos for upcoming streams. You can find me at Brady the Goat 21. That's at BRADY Goat GOAT 21. You can also find my YouTube link in my bio on TikTok. Last but not least, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I did get a couple subscribers while I was gone. Got to see nobody left. I'm around 227 subs, which is pretty good. Definitely need to try to do something here in the next few weeks. Try to get some more subs. My goal is try to get to 300 by SummerSlam. We have about 2 months, so definitely going to start trying to work hard on getting more subs. But please share this link with your friends. Anybody you think that will enjoy the wrestling content, and tell them to come in. Tell them to leave comments. I do an open Q&A on Sundays, so I do that for everybody that enjoys spoilers and upcoming stuff that's going on with WWE and NXT. So, but as far as my YouTube channel goes, you can find it on any of my social media platforms. But if you can't, for some reason, find it, you just go to the search bar in the top corner and type in at the EVP show. And come like and subscribe, and turn that notification bell on if you're already subscribed, and it will let you know when I go live. So what I have coming up next for you guys for the rest of this weekend, I'm off tomorrow. But be on the lookout on X, Twitter, whatever you guys call it. I will be making a post for the end of the month, the last Wednesday of the month. Maybe it is the last Wednesday of the month. We'll be doing the Night of Champions and the NXT Great American Bash prediction show will be on the Wednesday, I think the 24th of June at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on the EVP show. So be on the lookout for that post. If you guys have never been on, please please comment on the link on X if you'd like to come on YouTube and predict Night of Champions and the NXT Great American Bash. PLE is coming up in close to the end of June, right at the end of June. The 27th is Night of Champions, and June 28th will be the NXT Great American Bash. So be on the lookout for that. I will post it tomorrow at some point. It is tomorrow already on the East Coast. But come Sunday, I will be back for doubleheader Sunday. It's been 2 weeks since we've been live for Sunday Night Scoop, so a lot of stuff to go over. Join me at 6 p.m. Eastern for Sunday Night Scoops, episode number 22. As always, I will be doing a Q&A. And then come back later Sunday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern and join me for the LFG recap show at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Sunday, episode number 7 or 8. I think it's 7. Sunday. Monday night, after Raw goes off the air, they are going to be, I believe they're in Paris, France, Monday. Join me at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Monday night for the Raw recap show. Tuesday night, I'm back at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. I missed you guys last Monday and Tuesday. You can catch me Tuesday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap show. Wednesday, I'm off. Thursday, I'm back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern time for the TNA recap show. Next Friday, once again, SmackDown is on early, but I will be live with you guys again at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for the SmackDown recap show. Next Saturday, I'm off. And next Sunday, you can tune in once again for Doubleheader Sunday, starting off at 6 p.m. Eastern with Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP, episode number 23 at 6 p.m. Eastern next Sunday. Then come back later on Sunday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern to conclude Doubleheader Sunday with the LFG Season 3, Episode 8 recap show. With that being said, that is my schedule for the rest of this week and next week. Hope you guys enjoyed Friday Night SmackDown. We only have 2 more Friday Night SmackDowns at 3 hours before it goes back to 2. So this has been your SmackDown recap live here on the EVP show, June 5th. 2026. And I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of DWE. And DWE is the place to be. Hopefully you guys enjoy your weekend and your Saturday. And I will catch you guys back here live Sunday for Doubleheader Sunday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP. And then back at 11:30 p.m. Eastern for LFG Season 3, Episode 7 recap show. You guys enjoy your Saturday, and I will see you guys Sunday for Doubleheader Sunday here on the EVP show. Good night, and enjoy your Saturday, everyone.